You are tuned in to Revolution Radio, Windsor's finest variety radio station. And you can join us at St. Clair College's Mediaplex every week for comedy, culture, news, and entertainment. Enjoy some R&R with Revolution Radio. The revolution starts now.
Good morning, Windsor. You're listening to Revolution Radio, and I'm your host, Owen Kohut. Joining me today is...
Brianna Miles. The local Windsor Police Department recently posted a list of some of the biggest crime-evading offenders in the area and announced the list aided in their first arrest. Wanted in Windsor was meant to help generate new leads from the public so that the officers in the city can find those offenders and arrest them promptly. One of the listed offenders, Garth Brown, was arrested after he stole roughly $4,000 worth of merchandise from retail stores between October 2025 and February 2026. Brown is now facing 13 counts of theft under $5,000. If you have seen any other offenders that were listed, please contact your local police department or Crime Stoppers. The list can be found on our Facebook page.
London, Ontario police are investigating 39 overdoses that occurred between Wednesday and Thursday in the city this past week. Officers learned of a suspect who offered a free substance to multiple individuals, many of which were reported to have needed medical attention after ingesting said substance. Police currently believe that a toxic supply of illegal drugs is being distributed to the community and are currently investigating the origin of the substance and the identity of the distributor. Windsor police have made no comment in regards to this substance being linked to the string of overdoses we saw hit our city this past week. However, the Windsor-Essex County Health Unit has confirmed it is rolling out an updated opioid and substance strategy program.
Statistics Canada is expected to release the information on jobs from February this morning. A poll of economics believed that the economy added 10,000 jobs in the last month, but that the unemployment rate rose by 6.6%. Stats Canada reported a loss of 25,000 jobs in January, but said the unemployment rate moved down to 6.5% due to fewer people looking for work. The February job information comes less than a week before the next interest rate decision from the Bank of Canada on March 18th. Statistics Canada will also give the central bank a new look at inflation data before their decision and the report of February's Consumer Price Index on Monday.
Pierre Poilievre will be starting his tour to promote Canadian auto and energy resources. Canada's opposition leader's office announced that the Conservative Party leader, Pierre Poilievre, will be leaving for a week-long mini-tour of the United States. His trip is set to start in Michigan on Friday, where he will meet with players in the automotive industry and officials in Detroit. He will be stopping in Windsor before continuing his tour on Sunday. His plan is to fight for a tariff-free trade and help protect Canadian jobs.
And now a look at your Windsor weather. Today will be a mix of clouds and rain, along with some 20 kilometers an hour southeastern winds, with a high of 8 and a low of -1. Saturday will be sunny, with the wind pivoting to the northwest, with a high of 5 and a low of -2. Sunday will be cloudy, with a 60% chance of rain, showers, or flurries, with a high of 13 and a low of -1. On Monday, we'll see a mixture of wind and showers, with a high of 14 and a low of -6.
This week in entertainment, Donna Kelsey, the mom of Travis and Jason Kelsey, made headlines this week because she got her home renovated. Hold the presses, hold the presses. What are you doing? Hold what you're doing. Mama Kelsey got her home renovated. And as you can imagine, the memes on social media were endless, with one posting a mock cover of Taylor Swift's Reputation album with Donna Kelsey on the cover and the title reading Renovation. Big renovation, big renovation. Bet you heard about me. Ooh, I bet you love cabinetry. I'm sorry. I'm done now.
Beautiful. Thank you for that, Zach.
You're welcome.
In breaking tech news, this is Joseph Bedard from the Tech Booth. Speculations are hitting the web that Microsoft might release an Xbox and Xbox 360 emulator that will be playable on Windows 11 PCs. The vice president of Next Generation of Xbox, Jason Ronald, said, quote, "As part of our 25th anniversary later this year, the game preservation team will release some iconic games from the past that are now going to be playable in entirely new ways." With that in mind, when a reliable tech leaker, known as Nate the Hate, claims that Microsoft is releasing an Xbox emulator for PC, it seems much more plausible. Only time will tell.
You are listening to Revolution Radio.
Timothy Chalamet shaded the ballet and the opera, and our round table has some thoughts.
Hello, everybody. My name is Haley Trelo, and I am here with...
Owen Kohut.
Zachary Ballog.
Jonathan Beneteau.
Welcome to the Revolution Roundtable. Today, we're going to be talking about something that has hit the headlines, something Timothée Chalamet said regarding ballet and the opera. He said, I don't want to be working in ballet or opera, or, things where it's like, hey, keep this thing alive, even though it's like, no one cares about this anymore. Do you think that people do still care about the ballet and the opera, or do you think Chalamet has made a good point here? Is it a dying breed? Is it something that we actively need to work to keep alive?
I think, yes, there are still people that enjoy classical arts like ballet and opera, simply because there are still those that enjoy classical music. Like, you're always going to have people who appreciate what came from the past as opposed to what's going on in the present. However, among Gen Z, where attention is always an issue and always at kind of the forefront of every entertainment product, opera and ballet don't have that captivating features that the entertainment we grew up on do. And I think it becomes uninteresting because we're used to flashier, much more attention-grabbing, I'm not going to say art, but let's say media.
I just want to know when the last time anybody went to the ballet was.
Me in December.
Or even the opera.
Well, what I get out of it is it's incredible what the human body is capable of.
Mm-hmm.
The expansion and the ability. It's really, really cool to watch. And as far as the opera, that's a whole other part of the body that is equally as incredible. Yeah, Timothy's getting a lot of backlash for this. There was Doja Cat who really had a very interesting take on it. Even Matthew McConaughey gave some faces while his fellow actor was saying all this. I mean, it is art, and there are people who are still very interested in it.
I agree. It's art. It's forms that should be alive. And if you look at things like, for example, the Olympics, they still have ice dancing. They still have figure skating. These things are art forms that people can perform, and those would, for some people, be considered outdated. But no, it's still in the Olympics.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, the same could be said for Timothy's line of work as, film. At some point down the line, we're going to be having this conversation about somebody saying, oh, film is outdated and movies are going away.
Well, I'm going to bring up something that might be a little taboo in this Revolution table.
Okay.
Let's talk about the fact that we have TV, we have movies, we have TV shows. Are comic books outdated?
You can ask the same question
No.
about...
It's one of the fastest growing markets in North America. Aside from romance novels, it's comics.
I saw your face change so fast.
But you can ask the same question about radio. Is radio outdated? No, we still listen to it.
Yeah.
Right?
In different formats, but we're still here.
Exactly.
Yeah, where do you draw the line? At what point do you think something officially becomes outdated and nobody wants it? I can't even think of something that, other than technology changing and cassette tapes.
Right? Like abandoned e-waste, maybe? Fundamentally, art is designed to be appreciated no matter what.
Mm-hmm.
It's a fundamental reflection of humanity.
And the things that are innovated are meant to replace older things that are becoming outdated, but art, as you said, can't really be outdated.
It's evergreen, for the most part.
Overall, what message do we have for Timothy and his opinion here?
Tim, I think you should appreciate the art form that paid for your private schooling.
I think you should really reconsider your words because art is timeless and art is meant to be, as Owen said, appreciated by all people no matter when or what it is.
Even if you don't get it.
Exactly.
Even opera, man. Opera has some pretty good singing still.
I do find shows like Bridgerton are bringing back the love for certain arts like that. Because in Bridgerton, they have opera singers and they have contemporary dancing and stuff.
Yeah.
And like, I do think that certain platforms are bringing an interest back to this stuff. And give it a chance. Maybe you will like it. Maybe you will find something new that you're interested in that is actually a art form as old as time.
Exactly.
Actually, I do want to bring up fantasy games. They do have a lot of opera-like singers in their tracks.
Oh, yes. This is also coming from the perspective of someone who's played many JRPGs. I grew up on music that kind of sounds similar to that, and it's really interesting and captivating if you actually just take the time to listen, and not a lot of people are willing to do.
True story. My son went to the dentist yesterday, and I heard him singing Lacrimosa from the waiting room because he was excited that he was at the dentist. And that is a super famous song that has opera pitches in it and an orchestra. So I think it's really funny that, like I said, some things are being brought back, and it does come from media forms using those things. And I think it's so important too. But to have somebody go on and giving it negative energy and saying that's outdated is just poor class. Alrighty, well, thank you so much for joining me today, everybody. This has been Haley Treelout,
Owen Kohut,
Zachary Balog.
Jonathan Benetel.
and you have been listening to the Revolution Roundtable.
Joe is back with his famous car crash out, questioning some car manufacturing choices.
Hello, everyone. My name is Joseph Bedard, and this is Car CrashOUT, a show where basically I talk about car problems, car maintenance tips, or people just being dumb, and by the end of it, I'll probably end up crashing out. So let's see how this goes. Today, we're not actually going to be talking about anything specific to an individual. Rather, we're going to be talking about manufacturers themselves. So let's go back. What's the year? 2026. Let's go back about 30 years and look at cars from that era. Did they look good? Nah, that's kind of personal opinion depending on the brand. However, the inside, golden. That's like golden age type of stuff. You had the option of digital display, but most of them were analog. You had buttons everywhere to do everything. You knew where everything was and how to do it. All good. No screens, no distractions. Everything was great. The only distraction you'd have is when your kid turned on the overhead light and you'd have to tell them it was illegal so they would turn it off. That was the only distraction you would have in a car. Well, sometime in the terrible era of cars, probably after 2010, some genius was like, yo, what if we put a tablet in a car? And better yet, there's even a law about using phones, so this breaks that law as a loophole. It's also cheaper. Who wants a touchscreen in a car? Look, I get it. If you still have your buttons like they did from like 2010 to 2015-ish, you still had the buttons there to be able to mess with your radio, mess with your climate control, mess with your heated seats if you wanted for the driver, and then the passenger could use the touchscreen. That's fine. That's understandable. You still have the option of buttons. However, whoever was like, yo, these buttons, get rid of them. Too expensive. A 2-cent button on a $55,000 car? Nah, too much. Get rid of that. Oh, that's stupid. But let's talk. Okay, we've talked about buttons, right? Buttons, great. Touchscreen, bad. Terrible. However, let's shift gears to more modern times of how manufacturers are being absolutely unconsumer friendly. And that's with subscription services on your car. Let's talk about that for a second. BMW tried something where they wanted you to pay monthly subscription to use heated seats, something that was already in the car. You don't pay your heated seats? You didn't pay your heated seat? Well, it sucks for you. You're gonna be cold. Who thought of that? And then Volkswagen was like, yo, let's one step further. We have this car that can produce this amount of horsepower, this amount of speed, this amount of comfort. It's great. However, if you don't pay a subscription service to this, we're gonna electronically lock your car to this speed instead. Who thought that was a good idea? I don't understand. Manufacturers these days are being so unconsumer friendly, it is absolutely ridiculous. Bring back my buttons, bring back the car that I paid for, and don't lock stuff behind subscriptions. If I wanted a subscription, the only thing I will pay for a subscription is Disney Plus, maybe Amazon Prime, just for free shipping on my mom's plants and stuff that she buys, and Netflix maybe, just to watch Arcane so then I can then unsubscribe. That is the only thing I'll pay for subscriptions. Otherwise, nah, I'm not paying a subscription for my car. I'll go back to the 90s when buttons were a thing and they felt so nice to use. They even had sliders sometimes. It was great. You know what they else had? Toyota had something. There was an air vent right under the steering wheel that would blow directly at you to cool you down. It was fantastic. But now car manufacturers are like, what's the cheapest thing we can send out and then get the most amount of money back? Anyways, this has been Joseph Bedard with Car CrashOUT. I hope that I've entertained you somehow, and I need to go get a drink of water before I overheat. I will see you later.
Chris Dom is back with another Am I the Problem to discuss this week's submitted story with our Revolution panel.
Welcome back to another week of Am I the Problem? I am Chris Dom here with
Brianna.
And Owen.
And Haley.
Let's jump right into this one. Am I wrong for refusing to give up my parking spot? I live alone. Unit 12, Spot 12. Simple. New neighbor Kelly moved into Unit 18 with her husband and 3 kids under 5. Her spot is 40 feet further from the entrance. She knocked on my door, asked to trade. I said no, I like my spot. She was shocked. You live alone. You don't need the close spot like I do. Went to the landlord. He said spots are non-transferable unless both parties agree. She came back. Please reconsider. You're being really selfish. I said no again. Yesterday, she parked in my spot. When I knocked, she said, "Oh, I thought you'd be at work. I just needed to unload groceries quick." Her car sat there for 3 hours. My sister says switch to be nice. My friend says if I give in, she'll keep pushing. She already is pushing, demanding, entitled, acting like having kids means the rules don't apply to her. Like my no is just a speed bump to her convenience. I pay for the spot. It's mine. 40 feet isn't a hardship. It's a mild inconvenience she thinks she can bully her way out of. Am I the problem for holding my ground against somebody who thinks motherhood trumps basic respect? Not the problem.
Not the problem
Not
at
at
all.
all.
I have a huge issue with people that willingly make the choice to procreate, but then expect everyone around them to grovel to them like they're some special case. You chose this. You knew what was going to come and what entails with being a parent.
Exactly.
Where's it coming from?
Who raised
Who are you to demand this? And why does she keep going back to this guy in specific?
I was reading the comments and someone said, when you take your kids to Target, you're walking more than 40 feet, but you have no problem going there.
Yeah.
But like an extra 40 feet to get into your house, like get a wagon. Throw your kids and your groceries in a wagon. There's ways around what
Right.
you caused and brought into this world as opposed to
Exactly.
making somebody else uproot and be inconvenienced because you feel special and entitled because you have kids.
Be happy you have a parking spot.
Yeah.
Right? Too. And it's not like she's choosing the parking spot to be rude. That's how the spots were given out.
Yes.
You live in Unit 12, you get number 12 parking spot. Don't
Makes
move
sense to me.
Yeah,
Moving-
common sense.
Take
Ask-
pictures, document everything,
Oh, yeah.
go to
Oh,
your
yeah.
landlord, and if it persists, go higher up if possible.
Yeah.
tow truck.
How old are these kids?
I believe they said under 5. It's
Yeah.
3 under 5?
Okay,
3 under 5.
some
Why
of
would
those
you
kids can
subject-
walk.
And you're married. Maybe one of you bring your
Yes.
kids in and the
Oh my
other
God.
unload the groceries. Like you have
Right?
options.
Yes.
This
It's
is one
almost
girl
like it's a
alone.
partnership.
I
and
know.
Not a single
Women,
person
stop
doing the
settling
whole.
for less.
This
But-
person is not the problem. They
No.
have had the problem thrust upon them.
Yeah,
Yes.
they were just living their life. Spot 12, apartment 12.
And it's apartment 18, 40 feet away. If you walk it is like probably like 2
A
big
minute.
deep breaths. So consensus, I don't think she's the problem.
No,
Not the
not
problem.
the problem.
With that, thanks for joining us this week, and we'll be back next week with another Am I the Problem? For
Brianna?
Owen.
Haley.
I'm Chris Dom, and we will be back next week.
Zach's back with all things weird. Take it away, Zach.
It's Friday, and that means it's time to get weird. Time for weird news. A red fox somehow slipped onto a cargo ship that traveled from Southampton, England to New York City, where the animal is now in the care of the Bronx Zoo. It's not clear how the animal got onto the ship full of automobiles, which left Southampton on February 4th, according to the zoo. The ship arrived February 18th at the new port of New York in New Jersey, and officials brought the fox to the zoo the next day. He's estimated to be about 2 years old. Oh, he's a baby. For now, he's in the zoo's veterinary center. Being an omnivore, he's getting a diet of produce, proteins, and some biscuit-like items. From New York to Naples, it's time for Florida Man.
Florida man? I want to do Florida man.
Here's
Florida-
Brianna.
A Florida man found sunburned and disoriented on Sandbolt Causeway, claiming he was, quote, kidnapped by dolphins and forced to build an underwater city. Lee County Sheriff's deputies responded to the Sandbolt Causeway early Monday after a motorist reported a man standing on the shoulder, soaking wet and drug blueprints in the sand. According to the police report, Ricky James Hollowell, 33, was found barefoot, severely sunburned, and only wearing swim trunks. He told officers a dolphin communicated through, quote, a series of clicks that he eventually learned to interpret, and that the project foreman was a dolphin referred to as Gerald. When asked how he breathed underwater for 3 days, he said, Gerald handled that. I didn't ask questions. You don't question Gerald. Hollowell was transported for medical evaluation. Gerald was unavailable for comment. Some men built cities on land. Ricky Holloway claims he built one underwater for the dolphins, and honestly, the blueprints were hard to argue with.
Thank you, Brianna. And that's the weirdness for this week. Now time for your dad joke of the week. What do you call a sheep who can sing and dance? Lady ba ba. I'm Zachary Ballog, and you cannot make this stuff up.
That's it for us today here at Revolution Radio. Thank you so much for tuning in. The only R&R that's less relaxing and far more informative. We hope to see you again next week. I'm Owen Kohut.
I'm Gerald.
I'm Zachary Ballog.
Have a safe weekend, everyone.
Thank you for joining us at Revolution Radio. This show would not be possible without our talented cast and crew. Owen Kohut, Kelly Scheffler, Natalie Reinhardt, Joseph Bedard, Zachary Ballog, Haley Trelo, Brianna Miles, Teresa Jaworski, Otis Redding, and Tony Tavaleri. Check us out at Revolution Radio Windsor on Substack, YouTube, and TikTok.